Hello good people, welcome to Nana Reports YouTube channel. Burkina Faso President Ibrahim Traore is gaining popularity worldwide because of his unique style of leadership. He's the youngest president in Africa, just 36 years old, but he's shaping the landscape of how leadership should be conducted in the continent. Traore is a selfless leader who ascended to power not with an aim of making himself rich like other leaders do, but to do things differently and bring change to his people. Traore has done so much for his country in just 2 years that other nations are wondering why their leaders cannot do the same. He is committed to fostering self-reliance and independence for his country by launching projects that will bring economic empowerment, avail employment opportunities, and improve the lives of his people. But if Traore has only done right by his country, why is he regularly demonized by the Western media outlets? The truth is, much of the Western world does not like Traore because he represents a threat to neocolonialism. Africa finally has a leader that will not allow Europe to plunder it. Western countries like France have found themselves at odds with Traore due to his bold stance against entrenched practices such as Francafrique. Francafrique is a term used to describe the intricate network of political and military relationships between France and its former African colonies. Rooted in colonial history, this system perpetuates neocolonialism by maintaining French influence over African nations even after independence. It involves preferential treatment for French businesses, economic exploitation through unequal trade agreements, and often necessitates the compliance of African leaders with French interests. Critics argue that Francafrique hinders the development and sovereignty of African nations while benefiting France economically and politically. Traore's refusal to adhere to the status quo and his commitment to challenging the exploitative economic and political dynamics imposed by the West have unsettled traditional power structures, making him a target. The detrimental impact of Francafrique and neocolonialism on African nations cannot be overstated. Despite claims of cooperation and partnership, Francafrique essentially serves as an extension of colonialism, with former colonial powers like France exerting undue influence over their former colonies. This neocolonial paradigm allows Western nations to continue reaping benefits of resource extraction and cheap labor while stifling the autonomy and self-determination of African nations. Whether acknowledged or not, Francafrique and neocolonialism perpetuate a cycle of oppression and dependency, underscoring the enduring legacy of colonialism in shaping global power dynamics. On top of combating insurgency, boosting the nation's infrastructure, and emphasizing education, severing ties with Western Europe is one of Traore's most important fights. He's setting a new standard for what's acceptable relations between Africa and the rest of the world. The point is not to shame or antagonize the West, but to put an end to the exploitation of Burkina Faso. If the West doesn't put an end to the aggressive neocolonial tactics, there will be diplomatic consequences. Ibrahim Traore has now decided to side with the only other foreign partners that can advance Burkina Faso's goals. He made a decision that Russia and China will be the best partners. And while doing this, he's careful not to be the beggar while striking deals like it used to happen with France. Traore is meeting his Russian and China counterparts as equals. He met with Putin to discuss issues like security problems with insurgent groups and political tensions with the West. He cut ties with France and the United States, who are not helping with solving insecurity issues in Burkina Faso. However, Traore's defiance of neocolonial influences, particularly his opposition to Francafrique and Western exploitation, has positioned him as a thorn on the side of established power structures, drawing hate from Western media outlets. Traore started rejecting the Western aid and influence by throwing to the bin Burkina Faso's alliance with France. According to Traore, Africa's dependency on foreign powers is modern-day slavery. He made a move to save Burkina Faso from this by cutting ties with the financial institutions like the IMF. Under Traore's leadership, Burkina Faso is fighting to free itself from Western control. In a move that shocked the entire West, Traore took a bold step to expel French troops from Burkina Faso. France had maintained its military presence in its former colonies with an aim to seemingly combat insecurity. But the presence of these troops in African nations is a symbol of continued Western dominance. By terminating military agreements with France and expelling the troops, this was Traore's move to stop tolerating foreign interference in Burkina Faso's affairs. Apart from regaining the country's sovereignty, Traore's decision was a form of rejection of neocolonial structures that have kept Africa dependent on their colonizers. Traore confidently stated that Burkina Faso is now a free nation and will no longer play by rules set by foreign powers. Traore went further to cut ties with French media outlets for promoting biased pro-Western narratives that undermine Burkina Faso and serving as mouthpieces for Western interests. Traore is now serving as a good example to Mali, Guinea, Niger, and Botswana, who have also decided to cut ties with France and Western institutions that have been dictating their policies for a long time. Traore's move comes with its own challenges because the West responded with diplomatic pressure of isolating it from the international stage, but this has not changed his mind to become their puppet like his predecessors. He maintained that his country's future does not rely on pleasing the West, but on building relations that will foster self-reliance and independence. So in this case, France is acting like a boyfriend who thinks his girlfriend can never leave him and can't do without him. But to his surprise, the girl leaves and gets into another relationship where she's treated better and flourishes. So France, the boyfriend, goes into panic mode and starts issuing threats to make the girl come back running and begging. The girl Burkina Faso laughs this off and tells France he will not believe it, because at this point, she knows what's better for her, and going back to her ex is never an option. The African presidents who are still clinging to their former colonizers for approval are like girls who think they can't do without their boyfriends, no matter how bad they are treated, not realizing that if they leave, they will flourish more because they have the capacity to do so. The earlier these leaders open their eyes and stop being puppets, the better for their countries. Traore is moving away from the traditional, Western-dominated structure to diversify alliance with multiple global partners with whom they have common interests. One of the key players in this alignment, as I mentioned earlier, is Russia. Burkina Faso has strengthened its ties with Moscow, which, according to history, has helped African nations fight Western colonialism and imperialism with no strings attached. Russia does not impose conditions when offering assistance, allowing African nations to retain their sovereignty. After high-level meetings, Russia accepted to have economic and military cooperation with Burkina Faso. Russia offered to help Burkina Faso develop its energy sector, particularly in the areas of natural gas exploration and nuclear energy. Burkina Faso also turned to Iran for assistance. Iran is one of the foreign nations that is willing to engage with Africa as equal partners and help them get rid of Western dominations. Iran is expected to support Burkina Faso in the infrastructure and agricultural sectors. These partnerships are beneficial because Iran and Russia will get a new market for their goods and services, while Burkina Faso gets access to expertise and technology that will help it achieve economic independence. Traore is determined to create a new global order that will allow African nations to be free from dictates of Western powers and stand on their own. Despite facing criticism and diplomatic tensions, Traore remains resolute in his pursuit of autonomy and self-determination for Burkina Faso. His vision is very clear. His country will thrive in a multipolar world without depending on the West. Locals of other nations are now demanding their leaders to do what Traore is doing. If these leaders open their eyes early enough and free themselves from colonizers, Africa will soon be a powerful continent. According to experts, the West is in panic mode because they didn't see this coming. They thought that they will dominate Africa for life because they have African leaders wrapped around their fingers. But a new breed of leaders is coming up. The West is now pissing in their pants, for lack of a better word, because what is happening is a revolution. Africans are now waking up and realizing that what has been happening is wrong and there's a better way of doing things. In the past, Africans were misinformed, misled, and made to think that their leaders are the only problem. But now black people understand that there were invisible hands from the West in this game that are ensuring that Africa remains poor. What are your thoughts about this? Please comment down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to get more informative videos. See you on the next one.